Hey Radiant Souls, welcome back to my channel. I want to share with you today the top 5, I had to look at my slide if you didn't notice, the top 5 intuition ingredients. So things that I feel are great components to help you develop your intuition. So let's get into it. I'm a big fan of shortcuts to learning. So if you can show me a picture of something or give me a way to remember something in a different way than just the actual full-on information, I'm a fan forever. So I wanted to share with you the top 5 intuition ingredients in case your brain kind of works the same way. So in my mind, I am building this as a sandwich, and you'll see the silly little graphic I came up with for this later. But to me, that helps me just picture it, and I can go there and I can see the sandwich and I can think, oh, what were those ingredients? What were the components that made that up? And these are things that can help you develop your intuition, because I know so many of you out there are working on that as a goal. Heck, I am too. I do it professionally as a living, but I always learn something new every single day. So I am always in development too. The first thing, if you want to think of the bottom bun, the first thing is really things that help you feel grounded. So that may be walking out in nature for you. That might be cleaning your house or having the space around you be clean. One of the things that I see often when I work with coaching clients is there's energetic clutter. So decluttering your house or having a space that you go to that is kind of absent of that energy can be really helpful. So if you're in a really busy household and you have the TV going and the kids are on the devices and the dogs are barking at the UPS man, I'm sure none of that sounds familiar to any of you. But it may be helpful for you not to kind of study intuition or work on intuitive things there in that busyness of your household. So maybe you go back to a guest room or a bedroom, or maybe for you it's when you're washing dishes, because the kids are going to leave you alone when you're doing that, right? Nobody wants to be in there with you. So a time where you can kind of feel grounded and connect in with yourself in a different way. And we'll see a similar ingredient to that a little bit later, but the bottom bun is really the first element with nothing else added. So what is your purest version of you? What is that kind of baseline that you can start with? The second ingredient is what I call the flavor. So on the slide, you'll see it says, onions can make you cry, but your intuition shouldn't. Because whoever made this, that's me, is really kind of cheeky and sarcastic and goofy. But I also learn better that way too. So when I say onions should make you cry, but your intuition shouldn't, intuitive guidance is not going to feel like it's swaying you one way or another. It is very neutral. So if you are sensing and feeling things that make you feel anxious or make you feel impassioned about something, it may not be your intuition, because your intuition doesn't give a, to be honest. It's just information. It isn't colored one way or another. So if you feel that something is like, oh my gosh, that's really great, that's my intuition, I should go with that because that's gonna make this thing super awesome. What I want you to learn to do as you're developing is see where your emotions sit in your body. Because if you're having that kind of intuitive ping, you're adding something to it. You're bringing your emotions or your perspective, and intuition, like I said, is neutral. It is just glasses that you're putting on. So careful what else you might be adding to the mix inadvertently. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of how we learn. You've got to discern the emotion versus the intuition. So a great way to do that is just get a sense for, when I feel happy, how does that feel in my body? Do I get like a little antsy, little elevated emotion? Do I tap my foot when I'm angry? Do I, laugh? whatever it is, something, there's going to be a physical seat of an emotion for you in your body. So just get familiar with that. And then when you get those intuitive pings and your foot starts tapping, you can be like, oh, wait, am I informing this intuitive ping with my own desire? Am I bringing my impatience or frustration to this? Let me get back to where it's just the message and not the message plus what I want the message to be or how I interpret the message. The third ingredient is the meat. So the actual meat of the burger or the sandwich. And that is to practice. And this is, I think, one that sounds counterintuitive when we're talking about intuition. And that is that intuition takes discipline. You've got to show up and practice, just like any other skill that you're learning. If you are practicing the piano, you don't just get the sheet music and sit down and do it. You practice, or you learn the scales and you learn chords. You tune your instrument for whatever instrument you're learning. Same thing for you. So bringing discipline to your intuition practice can actually be really helpful, even though that feels like intuition should be free and easy breezy, easy peasy, whatever. It also needs some structure. So bring some discipline into your practice. And by that could be, I tune into my intuition before I get out of bed in the morning, or I tune into intuition back to doing the dishes when I'm doing the dishes, or I journal what my emotions feel like because I want to sort through that to be able to discern intuition from emotion. Whatever kind of practice you give to it. And it could be anything, but give it some discipline. Treat it as if it is a skill that you're learning, not just something that can descend upon you accidentally, which I think sometimes a lot of us feel like it's just gonna happen. It takes some work, and it takes some polishing and some, carving out the time to practice. The fourth ingredient in our burger that we're building are the toppings. So again, the slide, you'll see, I apologize for my humor, but it says, don't get yourself in a pickle. What we tend to do sometimes is compare. My intuition doesn't look like her intuition, therefore mine must be wrong. Or mine isn't quite as good. Or she hears things in her head, why don't I hear things in my head? Or she can see auras, I can't see auras, what's wrong with me? Stop comparing yourself to other people. We are all our own instruments in this orchestra. Intuition can and will work differently for you than it does for me, than it does for your best friend, than it does for your mom, than it does for your kids. Stop comparing yourself because you are setting an expectation and you're setting yourself up to not meet that expectation. You do you, boo, in your intuition, because you also might have something that is so much more amazing than anything you've witnessed in someone else. And you won't discover that if you're only trying to cram yourself into a certain pair of intuitive genes. So let yourself try different things on. And also don't compare yourself to yourself. Get rid of any expectations of how something should show up for you. And that's how you don't get yourself in a pickle. And the last thing on our sandwich is that top bun. We gotta hold everything back in. And so we wanna top it off and keep it together. And for me, my suggestion in the many, many, many years of doing this is quieting your mind. So similar to how we were grounding with the bottom bun, with the top bun, it is really giving your mind a space to breathe and be. And a daily practice to touch back onto that discipline, a daily practice of, it can be meditation. And I know some of you are like, oh, I've been meditating for 25 years. I don't need to practice that anymore. Cool. Maybe for you, it is not a guided meditation, but it's just a sitting in quiet and letting things come in. Maybe it is checking in with yourself at different parts of the day where you just take 2 minutes and picture yourself emptying out all your thoughts. Just let them out. so that there's space for your intuition, because sometimes intuition is subtle. Not only is it neutral, it's a whisper. It is often really, really subtle, really quick. And if we've got a lot of other mental clutter, just like we talked about the energetic clutter that could be around us, if we've got mental clutter, that intuition, we're gonna miss it, because it's just gonna be another ball bouncing around in there that we don't catch. That was a lot of gesturing. I feel like I'm doing a dance move. So those are my intuition ingredients, or the intuition sandwich, if you will. And if you want this little graphic, if it would help you, I'll put a link for where you can download it in the description below. Just a quick little chat today, kind of on the silly side, but that's how I roll. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have an amazing day. I'll see you next time. Bye.